Good evening, SBC. Good evening, SBCC. Good evening, BSL. And good evening to everyone else within the sound of our voice, north, south, east, and west. This is the January 31st, 2023 edition of SBC Tuesday Talk. And I am your host and moderator, administrator, founder, facilitator, van driver, and head cook, Mr. Mike Walker. Glad to have each and every one of y'all here with us. Glad you chose to spend an hour of your time on Tuesday with us. We got some interesting topics tonight, though. So just sit back and relax and have an emergency number nearby and just and just enjoy the show. So let's start off with the salutations. Yes, this is always a good one. Mr. Singletary, always great to have you here, sir. Great to have you here. Miss Anissa, good to have you here from BA. Jenna, great. Happy to see you. And another Anissa, I think this is the same one. Again, good evening to you. Brother Will Banks from Alabama, good to have you here. Sherry from H-Town. Yes, it is that time again. So, and that's what I'm worried about. Okay. Theodora from Pennsylvania. Glad to have you here. Valerie from Rocket City by way of, I think, Chicago. Glad to have you here. Angela Madison from Long Island. Always great to have you here. Lynn Brown from Guyana. She's not showing up. I'm sorry about that. Good to have you here, Sister Lynn. Carmelita Mitchell. Good evening. You know, that's just like us. Complaining about we late. That's just like us, you know. But then she's a Birmingham folks, so I don't expect any better though. Okay, Cynthia Burke, good to have you here. BB, always great to have you here and live. Good to have you live in Florida. Somebody might need to pay attention to that right there. Okay, not calling names. Natasha, good to have you here. Wait, I'm gonna put this up here. Yes, we all looking forward to this show tonight. Let me see. Denisha, good to have you here. Haven't seen you in a minute, about a couple of weeks. Good to have you here. From Chicago, Teresa from North Carolina. Great to have you here. Besma Strong. Okay. Well, folks, I'm not here by myself.
You sure ain't.
Mm-mm.
So
Not at all.
no.
Bonafide tonight. Yes.
You might as well introduce us because we cutting up already.
Oh.
Hey. That thing.
Yay. We'll
Hey,
definitely get after this. Always slips. What's up, everybody? What up? What's happening?
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Y'all.
How y'all
Violence is
doing?
being commenced tonight.
We good. How y'all doing?
What up?
I just thought of a name. We free the hard way. It's on and popping, y'all. Let's do it.
Starting from my left, we have from the Palmetto State, Miss Tiffany. From the Sunshine State, Chauncey. And from the Garden State, Michelle. Oh boy, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Y'all ready? Okay, let's get it. First topic. The first topic is verbal. Oh, in the day. Okay. Verbal confirmation versus assumption. Okay, and this is gonna be one of the ones that I don't have a visual for. This a conversation though, and I asked the panelists this, and I asked the viewers this. Say you meet someone, y'all establish communication, y'all go out with each other, and what have you though. Now, at what point do you let this person know where y'all stand? You know, or do you let them think what they want to think? What are the pros and cons of letting them know what's what? And then what are the pros and cons of letting them assume? You know, some things can paint you in the corner, and then some things give you an easy out. So go ahead. Oh, y'all quiet now. Look at it.
Oh no, we ain't quiet. I'm ready for the action. Can I go first, ladies?
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Verbal communication. Confirmation is very important, because when you start making assumptions, I'm thinking about what my mama said, and I think y'all mama said the same thing. When you make assumptions, you make it. And you know where I'm going. I can't curse on this recorded line. So, I'm the type of person I'd rather for you to know everything at the jump about me and my moves, so you won't make these assumptions. Because when you make those assumptions, I'm automatically gonna get mad with you, because I'm like, why you assuming and why you didn't ask the question? So I was like, you know what, we ain't gonna wait for these questions. I'm gonna answer all your questions from the jump, so you ever know most of everything about my movement, so where we stand and where this going. So, and at times, people don't even take your verbal confirmation to head, because they'll start making things up in their mind and making something else. And I'm like, hold up, ma'am, I ain't say none of that. I told you where we stand at. Now you're trying to make me something I'm not willing to do. That's why I told you at the beginning. So that's why I stand with that.
Okay. Tiffany.
So I would say, having been an assumptor before, I would prefer to have someone let me know what's really going on. I think that it saves a lot of time. It saves a lot of heartache. If you want this to be a situationship, be upfront. And we kind of talked about this a little bit the last time all four of us were together. If this is what that is, say this is what that is. Give me a choice to make an educated decision about how I proceed. Me being the person I am in my life right now, I feel no problem with saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is where I see this going. This is where I don't see this going. And just be upfront. Because like I said, it saves time. It saves headache. It saves heartache. Because there's nothing worse than being in a relationship by yourself. And I can be alone by myself.
And it possibly save lives too.
Yeah, it's some crazy people out here. Yeah.
Okay. Shell.
Assume nothing. Assume nothing. That's what I've learned. Okay. And like Tiffany said, I've been an assumptor years ago, where you build an entire relationship and future in your mind, and you make moves and decisions based off of that fantasy relationship you have. And in this season of my life, I assume nothing. I'm going to continue to move as a single woman, right? Because I'm not going to assume that we're anything that has not been discussed. So the only assumption I make is that you're moving as a single man. Because if you have not verbalized it to me, if we have not had a conversation that says otherwise, the only assumption that I have is that literally, and I've said this before and I'll clean it up, my assumption is that when you are not directly in front of my face, you're with another woman. And I can't be mad at that, because you're moving like a single man. And just know I'm moving like a single woman. If we have not sat down and had that very specific conversation, I expect and want you to move like a single man, and I need you to expect and want me to move like a single woman. Because neither one of us has stepped up to the plate to say, we want it to be more, we want it to be different. So that's the only assumption I have, that you're going to move like a single man.
And I was going to say, for me, it's like, being in a situation now where things are spoken and not assumed is totally different. Like, because I've been, like I said, I've been in situations where people say one thing and then their behaviors change, and then you're like, oh well, I remember when they said that we were so and so, so I guess we're still this, and you don't, you're not in the situation. You're looking at the situation for what it was when it first started. Whether that's great conversation, whether that's whatever, you're stuck in that period of time in this relationship. So if you don't talk about it after that, then I feel like a lot of people walk on assumptions that they had from when the first conversations were so great. And I'm like, to be able to be in a situation where you have those fluid conversations all the way through, I feel like, those checkpoints are so important. They really are. So.
And let me say this also, because I like where y'all going at with this. So we got to treat these things like contracts. And, contracts can change at any time because someone might want something, you might have changed. So you have to stay on top of that. So assumptions won't be made. Well, I assume because you told me this one, but you ain't tell me down the road that you change your mind. So it's that communication piece that it's always going to be moving around. So be open about that so the other person won't have assumptions. Because if I feel like I don't know and you don't tell me, I'm like, Shell, I'm going to move on, man. Forget this. You ain't going to have me confused around these parks. I'd rather be confused by myself than be confused with somebody else that's going to cause me headaches. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. And I just have 2 quick points. One, I think it was Regina who posted data malsis. And I'm just going to say to you, yes, ma'am, all of that, because and the second, it moves into the second point. All of us are adults of a certain age. We should all be at the point in our life that we can clearly communicate our wants, our expectations, our thoughts, and our feelings. Many of us, and I'm not specifying a gender because both sides have been guilty, many of us like to move in the gray area because it allows us leeway to taste and try with that and be able to say, well, I never said that. We never talked about that. It gives us room. So I'm going to technically, right, pseudo lock this person down because I know they're making assumptions. But because I haven't verbally said it, that means over here I can have a taste and over here I can test it out. No. At these big ages we should all be able to properly communicate our wants, our desires, what our boundaries are, and how this thing is going to move, be classified, and happen. And when we fail to do so, we either hurt ourselves or we're putting the other person in a position to be hurt.
And also going on what Shell said, when you get the information from the other person, receive the information for what it was. Don't hear what they say and don't internalize it a different way. Hear what you heard, and see what you see. Even when that comes to behaviors and conversation, because I'm a firm believer that a lot of times, even when people say things to you, their behaviors are what really speaks the truth, right? So if somebody's like, oh my gosh, like I really care about you, everything's so good, we vibe, all this stuff, but when I call you, you never answer the phone, or you're always too busy, or when we're together, you're always on your phone. You never make time for me. Like, those are clear signs that, you're saying you're into me, because that goes back to Shell's point about you trying to lock me down over here because you know that, okay, I got her on just enough rope to where I can hold her. And then, and I'm speaking from the female to the male perspective, but and Shell's exactly right. This goes the other way too, because I know a few. But my thing is it's like, you have to be able to internalize the information that you receive, because it's one thing to communicate what you want, but if you're not listening to the other person as they communicate it back, and you still are keeping the shield up about, I heard what they said, but I love them anyway. I see how they doing me, but it's gonna be all right. I love them anyway. I remember when they said they wanted me, but I can. You begin to excuse behaviors because you're wanting to keep the facade that's in your mind, because it's certain aspects of this situation with this person that make you feel good. So I think it's important that you look at a situation in its totality and not for its bits and pieces.
You're on mute,
No,
Chauncey.
You on mute, brother.
he didn't get started.
Oh, my bad. So check this out. So you know what happens when someone writes a check when they ain't got enough money in their account? If they make you deposit, you're gonna take a penalty. They gonna take a penalty. Make sure you're dealing with people that are guaranteed good that those checks are going to cash. So a lot of people writing checks just to make you bounce at the end of the day, because you got to make sure the receipts, the math is mathing right, everything between. That's why you test them a little bit. And that's one thing about people. They ain't testing people no more. They're just going by what people say. You know, I learned not to trust people on what they say until I know it's guaranteed down the road, because somewhere in that thing on conversation, either the lie's going to show up or the truth is going to stand. I'm just saying.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And people, talk is cheap.
Right.
Talk is so cheap.
Fact.
But the action, you get the action, their actions or lack thereof is most telling.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't call you, return a text, or it takes days to return a simple text, or hey, Theodore says, I believe in being upfront and straightforward. The first conversation is when I tell that individual what I'm looking for in a relationship and what I am not. Sonia from Queens, I don't ever assume if you have not literally or officially asked me to be your lady or a woman. As far as I'm concerned, I'm single. That's a good point right there. That ought to be in a book somewhere. Pastor Valters, glad to have you here. Never assume anything. Know what's going on, because we know what can happen when we assume. Enough said. Yes, and yes. Cassandra Cunningham, good to have you here. Some talk from their emotions at the time. For instance, feeling alone and just broke up with a person. And you know what? I like that what she said right there. Like y'all said, I think that was you, Tiffany. The initial conversation just flows so freely, like the ocean. You just like, man, we talk. There's some type of at least mental connection though. But then right then you get lost or caught up in your feelings. Like, yeah, we talk good. So guess what? I guess this is Mrs. Right or Mr. Right. We get caught up though. That's where you have to use spiritual common sense and think with your head this time and not your heart. So, okay. She said, say that again, Brother Chauncey. Yes. So, okay. Yes. And gold stars for the entire panel. Okay. I'm so glad you said that. So, it's a segue to our main course, which, of course, in order for us to get the gold stars, this is what you have to do. So make sure you do that. And then I might make a presentation to them.
Wow.
Keyword might.
Well, presentation is better than being fired like we were last time.
Oh, we was fired on the job.
Okay.
He was in the middle of the shift. He didn't wait. No, he waited to the end of the shift.
You know what?
It's worked the whole day.
Y'all got to realize the reason why we back tonight because we went to the union.
Grievance.
We want our jobs back.
Look, I ain't got this pencil off for nothing.
Right. We got our jobs back.
We had to go plead our case.
Official grievance.
Yeah.
I want to thank each and every one of y'all that have stood behind us during this tough time.
Yes, sir. Y'all stood right there with us.
Y'all fought the fight with us, and we back.
Because y'all understood that it was some wisdom in the midst of all of this.
Hey now. Okay.
Mhm.
You need some laughter and some joy in your life, and we're gonna provide to y'all because y'all stuff for us.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I said, we're gonna make you laugh, but we're gonna make you think. Uh-huh.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
That's on
We
my
are
mama.
That
out
was
of
our
time.
commercial break. That was our commercial break. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we got
We are out of
back
time. It's time for the announcements. I wish Marcus was here to do it, but we are out of okay.
Marcus is busy today. Go ahead.
Okay.
He's
Okay. Here we
occupied.
go.
He's occupied.
Okay, that was the commercial, y'all.
That's right.
Call 1-800-555-8623. Okay, here it goes. The next one. I'm just gonna just put it up here first. Black women and interracial dating. Okay. Black women and interracial dating. And of course, it's not limited to just white brothers. Could be Hispanic, Asian, South Asian, Latino. You get the drift. Okay. How I came up with this? Well, I was just perusing Facebook and I stumbled upon this podcast, which so happened to be by my first cousin. Once removed, he has a podcast. So, and I looked at it, I said, oh, this is a good point. Maybe I need to talk about this. Y'all take a listen. Y'all take a listen. Take a listen. If I can find it, y'all take a listen.
Yeah, they do it all the time. I watch 90 Day Fiance. They go over there. They get those women. Those women come over here. They be on this visa. They be together for maybe 2 years max. They get married in 90 days. They stay married for 2 years max, and then they get a divorce, and then they go on about their business because they met a more richer man.
But let me ask you: do you think that's equivalent to when women be like, "I'm through dating black men. I'm gonna start dating outside my race"? Cause I feel like, I seen a meme said, "I ain't never seen a black woman sad with a white man." So is that one the same thing as like the passport boy? They going to look for something else. They think the grass is greener. At?
I don't know, because I feel like at this point, and just based off what I have seen, I think black women are just tired because we're the only ones that don't date outside our race. We're the only ones that don't. Like, white women do it, black men do it, Asian people, whatever. But black women really just be trying to find them another black man. Like, in real talk, like, they rarely date outside their race. So, fuck a Brandon, let me get a Brad. And that's just how they starting to roll. And that's just what they doing now. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I seen a couple Asians that I thought was nice. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, son. I just seen some.
Oh.
Okay. And here it go right there. He gonna have to give me time in that studio. Here it go again is the topic again. Black women and interracial dating. Now, I say this though. We have, we old folks. So with that said though, we've seen plenty of our Nubian sisters dating non-blacks, but is it out of necessity? Is it out of that old myth that there's not many decent black men left? The old saying, they either in jail or they gay or they married or something, and we just got the leftovers, or it's just something they just want to try. What is the reason? And I'm gonna make this caveat that we're not against interracial dating. Okay, I'll make that perfectly clear. No. But ladies, you go first. Well, and I ask this too: would you date outside your race?
You want to go first, Tiff, or you want me to take it?
I was gonna say I got 2 points on this one. So, first point, I can say that I disagree with the young lady as to the whys behind the what. I think that when it comes to dating outside of your race, to me, I feel like some of it's exposure. So when I say that, like, for instance, I grew up in the South, right? So I grew up in a household with parents who were born in the 50s. So for them, that was like We don't do that around here. So I grew up with that. However, I went to predominantly white high school, which opened my eyes to a whole different layer of things. So I think that's some of it. There are some people that grew up in very free households where everything was, all inclusive, whatever. So I think that's part of it. Mm-hmm. The other side of this is I think that if we're talking about Black women dating white men, I think we also have to look at the flip side of that coin for our brothers dating white women. Mm-hmm. And the reason I bring that up, because me personally, my preference is to date a brother. That's my preference. Do I have anything against anybody that chooses not to do that? No, because I have some friends that they have said, I can't find any good Black men. I go over here because I know they're going to respect me. I heard that phrase. But then I ask, have you tried them all? So can you truly categorize a group of people? But at the end of the day, you love who you love and you got the relationship you got and they treat you with respect, then that's great. Fantastic. Go be you. That's just the way I look at it. But when I think about the whys behind the whats, I'm kind of skewed in my thought process when you flip that coin the other way, because I know some Black men who have said, I prefer to date white women because they are more supportive. When I think about more supportive, when asked to go into detail about that question, this gentleman said to me, oh, well, they listen to me. They don't make me do certain things. They make me feel, they make me feel wanted. And my rebuttal is, no, you feel coddled. And I can't coddle you because when I walk out of this door, life doesn't coddle me. So I'm like, if you're coming to me with situations and circumstances and I talk to you about solutions, because I don't hold you and cry with you, but I come with a standard, does that make me not supportive? Because I actually had somebody tell me that. They were like, you're not supportive. I'm like, because you came to me with a problem and I talked about a solution. I didn't just sit there and whine and complain with you. So all of that to say, I think that as we're having this conversation, the question shouldn't be Black women and interracial dating. I think it should just be interracial dating as a whole and the whys behind the what. Because for me to say, oh, there's no Black men out here or whatever, like I happened to find one. Well, one found me. And I was like, wow, like, where you been? You know what I'm saying? So he gets a little shout out. He know who he is. But anyway, but it's just kind of like, but prior to him, I was like, dang, what's going on? But I still chose to stand strong. So that's that.
Okay. And she says, calm leader says, I've been there before too, about the coddling thing. Yes. Okay. And I was going to say that, you hear the brothers saying, fill in the blank race woman would treat me better. Or you don't have this type of behavior from a fill in the blank race woman. When both genders got our faults though. Okay, Shell.
So I guess it was a good day for me to wear my black goes with everything shirt. But I think it's important to point out when you say, we hear some Black men say that fill in the blank, this particular race is easier to deal with or doesn't have the attitude or this or that. We hear about that, and then we hear about Black men getting white women as a point of status or making it, right? So we see that a lot with men that have power, men that have money, men in athletics, entertainment. We see that, right? So those are two big stereotypes that come with Black men dating outside of their race. Is that the reason why all of them? No, not at all. But it is funny that that's not what you hear typically talking about Black women dating outside of their race. When Black women date outside their race, it's like Tiffany said, I can't find a Black man. I tried, I'm tired, like the woman said on the. So I find it interesting how very different, depending on the gender, the reasons why they go outside of their race, right? So a Black woman they're tired because they either feel like they can't find a good Black man, or they're tired of the circle that comes along with some relationships with Black men, right? Me again, like Tiffany, my preference is absolutely black, right? From the light, bright, almost white to the blue black. I love y'all all.
Yes.
Love them. Love, love, love them. But I also know and understand that the same God that created you and me and our beautiful melanated forms created Asian men and white men, Native American women. So to say that the person that the Lord has for me could only be black, I think is very narrow-minded, and you could miss your blessing. Do I have a preference? Yes, chocolate all day. But if the man that is supposed to be with me, that God has set aside for me, you know what I mean? If he's Native American, if he's white, so be it. But another caveat with that, I absolutely cannot be his first black woman because I'm not here to train nobody. But again, preference, brothers, love you. Love you. But I also won't limit myself because God doesn't, God is limitless and we don't know what his will is.
Okay, she said chocolate, so I'm butterscotch. So that
I
counts
said
me out.
light, bright, almost white,
Blue black.
all the way to blue black. And I've dated them all, that entire spectrum.
Yes, ma'am.
I bring you
Yes,
pretty eyes and dimples. We good
yeah.
to go. Go ahead,
Yes,
Chauncey. What you
ma'am.
got? What you got,
Yes,
Chauncey?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me get to this and I get to Chauncey. Okay. Kimberly Murphy, Tiffany's sister, twin. I disagree with her already. I know 3 black women with white beard. Okay. Pastor Balder says, I've got a few families, few females in my family that not only dated but married outside of our race. And it was just because their heart found love with that person. Race had nothing to do with it. Jenna from ATL says, now I want a black man, but of a Blasian. Her words, a Blasian just so happened to
Come on,
like me.
Jenna.
I might just see what's what.
Come on, Jenna.
Tia from Kansas City. At this point, I just want to meet my life partner.
That part.
I'm open, and I feel the same way.
That
I feel
part.
the same way.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Pastor, as far as the brothers, my male cousin just this past weekend married out of our race, and the family welcomed her with open arms. Okay. Carmelita says, I've always been attracted to all kinds of men, but I wanted to marry a brother. That hasn't happened though. So I'm even more open to dating outside of my race. And wait, we getting some more. Oh, Cassandra Cunningham. Long as he can speak English very well and understand my sarcastic words.
Cassandra, I'm a sucker for an accent. I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for an accent.
Yeah, but an accent and speaking English, well, 2 different things. Because
Yeah.
I used to date an African who was born in England who had a French accent, spoke fluent French. Oh yes, girl, please.
Like I said, I love me a nice heavy southern accent all the way to across the pond. Like I'm good.
I like French. French, English. Yes.
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 But Chauncey, we would love to hear you and Mike's thoughts on this one.
Oh, don't worry about it. We gonna get there. We gonna get there. Wait, we still got a few. Carmelita says is no, that's Charlene. Is butterscotch and caramel close in color? I think she's trying to shoot that at me. I think that's what she's trying to do. Okay. Carmelita says, don't sleep on Asian men. Oh goodness. Carmelita said, we. Oh boy.
Yes, ma'am. We.
Okay, and Sonia says, I have dated outside my race, but my preference is black. Now, I want to read this one. Cynthia Bird, always great to have you here. I'd love to hear from the men on this topic. What do saved men say about interracial dating and marriage? What I've heard comes from the world. Do saved men feel the same way that other black men feel? Well, I'm gonna answer this. I'm gonna start off, and I'm sorry, Chauncey. I'm gonna
No, you
start
got it.
off.
Already, you
Uh,
got it.
I don't think that. I guess their salvation or lack thereof is germane to their choice. Because you have some people. I'm just gonna go and say it. Our white brothers and sisters try to have a biblical justification against interracial dating and interracial marriage. You know, um, I don't think it's a Christian thing though. What do I think? What do I think of it? Hey, if she happens to be white, if she happens to be Native American, a Spanish speaking country, European, you know, hey, she just be the first lady of SBC, plain and simple. So hey, you want that person God has for you, okay? And race, you know, race may not even play a part in it. Go ahead, Chauncey.
To answer her question, uh, I can't think for other saved men and early worldly men, but date the one that you love and take color outside of the perspective. Because when we start thinking about dating outside race,
Mm-hmm.
we start thinking about systematic racism and contact that person with those things that had happened in the past. And that person could be followed totally far from that of racism, things like that, and just love you for you. And you can miss that because you going on the opinions of the world. And that's what happened. A lot of people are following trends of the world, but not following the movement of their heart. That can preach to somebody tonight. So that's my first thought about that. I have no problem with people in interracial dating, men or women. If you got to go after what you want, and you got to take race out of perspective. Now, me personally, um, my preference is black women, and the reason why is because I think only a black woman can challenge me in a way that make me think outside myself. Because I've dated outside the race with with a white woman, and she didn't give me what a black woman can do. She pat my back. Yeah, it's all right. Go on, Bill. No, excuse my language, nigga. Get off your ass and do what you got to do. That's what I get from black woman,
That
and that
part.
attracts me and makes me like, let's go. Okay. So it's that thing that I need only a black woman can give me because I have had the perspective from the other side and not get what I needed, So that's me just speak on the topic. But once again, go for what you love, and they gotta love you back with the same energy.
Yep.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
Okay. Cynthia Burt. Uh, I I'm thinking of the things like this. Black man is mad when he sees a black woman with a white man, but he's cool with dating a white woman. I think you're gonna have. Go ahead, Tiffany.
No, I was gonna say I get what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
I get what she's saying because that goes our way too as women, where we're like, why can't he choose a sister? We think it, and it's not, and I think we look at it more so like when some of the black men reach, like Shachelle talked about earlier, people who reach these different statuses in society, right? And you look around and you're like, wait a minute, like you just completely overlooked the sisters and went straight to, you went straight to Brittany and you bypassed Keisha, you know. but it's not saying, but I mean, who's to say that that Brittany hadn't always been around? We don't know that. But it's all about motives. Yeah. But you won't necessarily know a person's motive just by seeing them with someone.
Mm-hmm.
So, because they very well may have a serious connection with that person, and that just is the person that they love, and that's cool. Like, I mean, like I said, I have classmates that are married to people outside of their race on both sides, and they're some of the sweetest people. And so I don't feel like, oh my gosh, if you make this decision, I can't believe you did that, But me personally, and my preference is that, I look for a brother, because I actually went out with a white guy one time. And for me personally, it was uncomfortable. And it wasn't that he made me uncomfortable. It was the looks we got from people that made me uncomfortable. And it was like, it was at one point we were driving and we were going out to the beach and we were just driving around and it was like this other interracial couple walked. There was a black girl with a white guy. And she looked at me almost to say like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. And I was just kind of like, I'm just out here just chilling. Like, I ain't trying to, and like, we didn't even go on the beach. We literally was just driving by. And I was just like, to have that type of reaction was like, okay, this is weird. I felt like I was in a Get Out moment for a second. Like we see each other, but I just feel like, again, it goes back to what everybody's saying in a nutshell. Like, you love who you love, make sure they love you back. As long as you treat it with respect, regardless of whether that person is blue, purple, pink, orange, or brown, whatever that thing is, be respected. And don't take disrespect just for the sake of fitting a stereotype.
I get you. Go ahead.
I just remember what I just watched. If you ever want to have a good conversation about this and see it in color, watch You People. Because this topic is definitely about what that movie was all about, You People on Netflix.
Okay.
I ain't trying to get no spoilers because, I don't know.
Okay. Can you put up Rhonda's comment? Because I wanna respond to it.
Rhonda.
The last one. Yeah.
Okay, so I absolutely believe that God will give you the desire of your heart. But our job is to pray that the desire of our heart meets God's will, that it is aligned with God's will. Because there are things that we desire that don't fall in line with his will, and they're never going to come to fruition. So that's something that our prayer life has to push towards. Lord, let my desires fall in line with your will. Allow my desires to fall in line with your will. The desire of my heart is to be a millionaire. Let's really think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want our desires to be aligned with what God's will for our life is.
Okay.
But I think that's where you transition from a want to a need. That's kind of how I look at that. Like, that need is alignment. The want is satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. And you also got to realize this. He's going to give you the desires of your heart. It's just not going to look like what you think it's supposed to look like. Because if it's going to look like what you want it to look like, then that's definitely a want. But if he gives you something to desire your heart and it's not what you want, he's going to meet your need, and you'll never know what your need going to be looking for. That's why so many people right here miserable right now, because they still looking for the one in their eyes, and God done listen they need by 50 million ways, and they just told it no every time.
Yeah. But they stuck on the want without really stopping to ask, Lord, what is it that I need? What do you know that I need that I don't know that I need? Because I'm stuck on the want. I'm stuck on the want, and I don't have the knowledge that you have. So again, going back to, Lord, what is it? What is your will for me? Mm-hmm. Because I want what I want because I'm human and I'm flawed and I'm limited, but you're not. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we just go with what feels good and what we want without checking back with the creator that can see all the way down the line, because we just see right here.
And meeting the desires of your heart is not this thing that's popping inside of you. The heart is the center of who you are. Mm-hmm. The very nature of what makes you you. So you're going to have a need that's going to expand this, not crush it. God ain't going to send you nobody's going to crush your spirit and crush your heart. And most guys that came in your life crush your heart because you wouldn't listen to God, or the women that come in your life or the men came in your life crush you because you went outside the will and said, I can't wait. And then you met disaster, and now you're going to blame God for that? No, that was a you thing.
And a lot of times God gave you the way of escape in that process too. And you ignored it. And it was something that popped up in my memories the other day on Facebook that a minister said at my church about 2 years ago. And she said, and this sticks with me, God will never put you in a situation where he has to tell you, I'm sorry.
Mm.
He will never put you in a situation where he has to tell you, I'm sorry.
Right. And my pastor always says this, God will never give you anything that's going to take you away from him. My pastor says that.
How about that?
That part. So if you're in that relationship, been there, could have bought the t-shirt, where you find yourself slowly drifting, regardless of whether it's with whoever looks like you or who don't look like you. If you're in that situation and you find yourself drifting away from who you are called to be, or what keeps you connected to God, obviously that's not God. And you can't make it God. And God's not going to be somewhere where he can't reside. He's not going to do that.
Okay. That's a good stopping point for that right there. And it's an interesting segue. But before we do that, the union increased their salary, so I need that now more than ever. So come on, y'all, help me.
They said as long as you keep us around, they'll keep paying you. That's what they said. That's
now.
That's what he said.
It's pitiful.
Her management.
Okay. The next one, and it has some very close relation to what we were talking about. But we kind of, Shell sent me this video. Shell sent me the video. And I had to chop it up because it was a long one, but I had to get the good parts out. It was the podcast is from Smosh, SMOSH, and the owner, the pod master, was reading letters from Reddit. Okay, and that's all. I just want to set that up for y'all. Here you go, y'all.
This comes from the subreddit Off My Chest. I am sad that my child isn't dark-skinned.
Oh. Okay. No, it's about time, to have that anger.
Please, finally.
Throwaway account. I know I am going to sound horrible, but I finally need to tell someone. I've been feeling like this for more than 4 years. I am a white man who is married to a black woman. I always knew I would marry a black woman because that's the only type of women I am attracted to. I met my beautiful, wonderful, intelligent wife. We dated for 5 years before getting married. I love my wife. 9 years together, and I am still so in love. We have a 4-year-old son. When she gave birth, he was white. But aren't all babies? Okay, but months passed, and his color didn't change. Now he is 4, and he looks just like me, with blue eyes, blonde hair, and his hair isn't even curly or afro. He looks like a little white boy. My wife often gets upset because people assume she is babysitting or that she is the stepmom.
Yeah.
I try to comfort her as much as I can. I pretend I am so happy he looks like me, but the truth is that I am gutted. When she was pregnant, I envisioned a black, brown-skinned kid. I was excited to share black culture with him. I am into things that can be classified stereotypically as black, and so is my wife. I have never said anything to anyone or treated him as he wasn't my son. I love him. I wouldn't trade him for any mixed toddler. But I still have
But I would.
But
I've thought about it, at least.
and Cat Guy's like, listen. But I still have this feeling that I wish when I took him to his appointments outside in the park, people would just see that he is not 100% white. My wife wants another baby, but I have been saying no because I am scared baby number 2 will also be white. Edit. Since some of you cannot understand what you are reading, this only describes my feelings, not my wife's feelings. She and her family have no problems with their son's skin, hair color. Her labor was so awful that she is just happy she is doing fine and is there for her son. Yes, she gets upset at the strangers' comments. You'd be surprised how many strangers open their mouths like, did they give you the wrong kid? Take a DNA test. Check if there was a black kid born that day. Where's the mom? Ma'am, I need to see ID to check if this is really your son. Hey, kiddo, do you know this woman? Etc., etc. Even my own family. Oh, he had the good genes.
Wow.
I don't even know how to start unpacking that. Bruh. I need a minute. Y'all go ahead.
I'm just thinking, when I hear this, I think back to the plantations that surround me here in the low country of South Carolina. I think that this thought is not a modern thought. I think that this thought has happened before. The movie Get Out was not made for entertainment. It's a powerful message in that. And I think the message is we have strength, we have wisdom, we have a lot of things about us that are unique to us that we as people don't really yet, I think, fully understand what's unique to us. And this gentleman sounds like he understood what's unique to us. And he thought that by being with a Black woman, he would get those things that are unique to us. And it's like, sir, it doesn't work that way. That's not even genetics. Matter of fact, one of my classmates, her son, her son, she's married to a white man. She's about Shell's complexion. Her husband is white. And their son he looks white. And, she doesn't love him any less. Her husband doesn't love him any less. But when she was in the store, people actually asked her, are you the nanny? She's like, no, this is my child. So it's a real thought out here in these real streets. That's all I got. But as soon as I heard it, I think about the plantations that surround me with that mindset. That's all I got.
Carmelita, I'm wondering the same thing. That's a lot, no words.
And Rhonda says something in this comment that I think speaks volumes right now.
So this clip is really long, and I encourage you, if you guys are interested, to watch the whole thing, because that is part of the letter where he says, I don't hate being white. I don't dislike my white skin. I don't dislike my white features. He was very clear with that he doesn't dislike being white. Now, in my opinion, and it's just an opinion, I do believe that for him, on some level, I'm not saying he doesn't love his wife, but I do get that fetish vibe, right? I get that fetish vibe. And that's always kind of a fear when we talk about interracial dating, right? That you don't want to be a fetish for someone. You, like Chauncey said, you want their love to be as real as your love, not because you are a fetish, for them. And when you hear the letter as a whole, it does, to me, give some fetish vibes from the husband. And a lot of the laughter has to do with some of the commentary to his comments, not necessarily what the wife was going through, because he was very clear. I'm upset, not necessarily because of what people say, but because of the expectation I had for what my child was going to look like, and they weren't met. And because of that, I don't even want to have a second child because I'm afraid that those expectations will not be met again. So then he never speaks to his issue with society and what they say or think and how his wife goes through that. It was all about his expectations not being met because his son wasn't a certain hue and didn't have more coily hair or darker eyes or wider nose, fuller lips. That was his expectation that wasn't met.
And I'm gonna get back to you. It does make it seems like that old breeding mentality, just like Tiffany was saying in the plantation. And if you think you got it bad, remember where I live at, Alabama. So, and it make you think that you are a fetish. And that's go ahead, Chauncey. You through unpacking?
Yeah, I unpacked it. And y'all helped me unpack it a little bit more by just listening. He only could get what he wanted from a black woman, and he wanted an interracial baby. And what happened is he got, you know how sometimes when you would have a desire and it's all in the wrong places, God got a funny way of throwing that thing back in your face. Now I'm not speaking evilness, but it's just how that baby came out. He thinking he was getting Patrick Mahomes and got the total opposite. and he's having a hard time dealing with that. He said that he gonna like black women, but we got to ask the question: why do he like black women? Because it got to be a reason for the like, and sometimes those reasons are not right. It's not because of love, because I want you to give me what I need, so I'm gonna disguise it and make it seem like it's one thing. Because he's not concerned about what his wife feels. He says his wife is hurt, but he's not truly concerned about that. He's concerned about how he feels and what he didn't get. And now he's upset. So much so he don't even want to have another child. You know? So we got to really unpack that thing and realize it ain't about his wife, ain't about his family. It's not even about the child. It's about what he wanted. And when you start getting stuff like that, it sounds kind of selfish. That's all I gotta say.
And at the end of the day, you can't say that the way he feels is not going to come out in how he deals, relates, and bonds with his son. And I'm not saying he doesn't love his son, but when you have those level of feelings and disappointments inside of you, it absolutely affects your relations with that person and that child. Because every time you look at him, you see what you didn't get. You know, so then it's like, wow. And he even says, like, his wife doesn't think twice about the fact that the child is light. She loves him. But he sees what he, like Chauncey said, what he didn't get what he thought he was going to get, what he wanted.
And then even when somebody in the comments said too, they were like, you know, even if they had a second child and the second child came out darker, there's going to be a discrepancy in how they're treated. He alluded to that already.
Absolutely.
How that's your brother? How's that your sister? How that's your other brother? Because that's going to open up a whole different can of worms that those children going to have to deal with, especially this society that we have.
And even me, I used to work as an adoption recruiter, and even when creating family, there were some Black kids that got adopted by families that were non-Black, some white kids that got adopted by a Black family. So I mean, and to even talk to them about, you know, how to assimilate into this joint, this blended family, like, you know, and the parents were people and they saw people as people. But of course, this mean world that we exist in, you know, sees things a little bit differently. So to protect that within your house, to let that mentality be the thing that rings the loudest, you know, so home is really the teaching ground.
Yep. And there's folks out there wish they could have a baby.
Right.
And he up here being picky. Fetish or whatever it is. Okay.
Kids.
Okay, wait. I like this right here. This is a good one, right? I'll read these two. Erica, good to have you here. Yes, I was thinking that my sister has adopted different races and the same happens. And Yvonne, this is a good way to close this part out. This kid will have enough to deal with in society without having to deal with the father's issue. There you go, right there. Okay, we're gonna move on right quickly. And of course, you know, think about the union. Think about the union, y'all.
Not the union. Oh my God.
You know,
Think about it.
I wonder who's the shop steward here. Okay.
What'd you say?
I wonder who's the shop steward here. Okay, go ahead. Okay. I'm telling y'all to go ahead. I get this. Okay.
Okay, well, we go ahead. No problem. So, starting about a half past the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, these one quick. Okay. As you know, Valentine's Day coming up. Well, we entering in that season. Yeah. And it's this skit, but I think he was for real.
Right.
This is a good way he picked up somebody. So y'all just take a look. It's right quick.
What's your problem with me?
Huh?
What's your problem with me?
I don't have a problem with you.
No, because I swiped right on you on Tinder and we haven't matched yet.
We have?
We haven't.
We haven't?
No. You know what? Look, just put your number. Just put your number.
Wait, I thought the way you just rolled up on me, I thought we had real beef.
We do got beef because you didn't match with me.
That's my phone?
Yes, put your number in my phone. I ain't got time for these games.
Oh.
Hurry up. Because I'm going to be your chocolate for Valentine's Day.
You just made me forget my phone number.
That dude is hilarious.
I know that's right. Oh, man. Woo, boy. Hey, Shell, you looking for your chocolate for Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
Does that say cat? You know what?
I'm gonna be chocolateless.
Michael, really?
What?
Really? VD?
Catching
Valentine's Day.
Really?
Catching Valentine's Day.
Yeah, catch a Valentine's Day.
Play on words, play on words.
Make sure you found the mayonnaise aisle.
Oh, yeah, that mayonnaise. Oh no, never mind.
Some people find it on a lonely highway. Some people.
I wonder what aisle they on.
What's all
I
these
don't
love
want to play it
connections
again, but
store?
They in Food Lion. That's what grocery store he do most of his skits in Food Lion.
oh, man, I mean,
Yes.
what product aisle is he?
She was over there trying to get her pickles. She was trying to get her some deal spears.
And you gonna give her a pickle.
Wait a minute.
I do that.
Long as you put it in a pickle, we all right. Long as you in a pickle.
Go get this culture deal today, baby.
Long as we get no olives, we all right. No olives, no grapes, no raisins. We all right.
Pop. We was doing good.
That's you, Chauncey. That's you this time. That's you.
I know it's on me.
That's you.
I gotta go.
I was just saying what aisle they were on. It looked like they were on the condiment aisle. So it was,
I know that's right.
Ketchup, mustard, some all the things I can't have. The barbecue sauce, the ketchup.
Mr. Walker, please note that I am not in this foolishness. Thank you, sir.
Look,
Tiffany, check this out. They literally can say this is spill on aisle number 5.
This one here, I can't. Look, all I gotta say is notice she did not hesitate to give this man her number. That's right. Ladies, we can take a note from this sister. Okay. Take a note from her. Sometimes it's the comedic things. We can't just turn away things all the time just because it's like, why are you talking to me? A lot of people walk around with that face where you just like, why are you talking to me? And sometimes that humor that he had with her could be the very thing that's like, hey, it could be the thing that works for you. I'm a firm believer in actually having conversations with people. Some people, like I said, just people we can take. I'm really saying this, ladies, we can take a note from her sometimes. Sometimes people walk around like, why are you talking to me?
Ladies, get a Google Voice number, okay? Just get a Google Voice number.
Do that. I agree.
Voice number.
I agree. Get your Google Voice number. But as you're talking to him on Google Voice, he may actually turn out to be somebody that you may really need to talk to.
And that's fine, right? Let him prove himself.
Yes.
But you a pure D stranger, and you coming up to me, you're not getting my real digits.
No, I ain't talking about getting the real digits, but I'm saying some people would have just been like, I ain't talking to you. What you talking? You know what I mean? Like a lot of us are like that. Like I'm the social butterfly, so I'm the
Yes,
exact
you are, and I'm the stranger danger. What you want?
I got stranger danger.
No, you
It's
don't. It
yes,
doesn't
I
exist.
do.
You
Yes,
don't not for you. You talk to anybody.
No, I don't.
So let me say this so you won't get confused. Make sure you give him the different Google number than the one that you have for your booty calls.
No, you got to give him that one because then if I'm just saying, I don't have one of those. I had one of those. I don't have one now because I don't have a need for it right now. I'm saying is, you got to put him in the rotation. Because then if he stands above the crowd, then hey, everybody else. Yes, the RBF. I didn't want to say it because I don't like to use that word, but that's exactly what I was talking about. A lot of people have that face where they're not approachable. And people be like, I don't want to talk to them because they look like they ain't gonna talk to me. So I'm like, be approachable. You can show yourself friendly. If you want friends, if you want people to talk to you, show yourself friendly.
You know what though? I've been accused of having RBF, but I think I'm a nice person. I think I'm nice. I think I'm kind. I think I'm funny.
I can vouch for that.
I also feel like if I'm in the supermarket shopping, I'm not going to walk around looking. I'm not. I'm focused on what's on sale. Where's my coupons? So I may not look the softest and the kindest. So if you don't have enough chutzpah to come up anyway and say hello and strike up a conversation, you're not for me.
Now, some people, I think about the fruit rambutan. That's the fruit that comes to mind. This is an Asian fruit. And on the outside, this fruit looks horrendous.
Oh, the rambutans? Love those.
Yeah, it looks horrendous. Okay. But when you open it, it's nice and sweet and it has a great flavor, a great aroma. But you got to get past the outside. Now, we walk around looking like said fruit all the time. Everybody ain't gonna want to go past that to cut it out and see what's on the inside. So sometimes you got to look like an orange or an apple or a pear or a banana or something else, even a piece of star fruit. Just something, just and it ain't mean you gotta walk around with a smile on your face, but just be approachable. And yeah, there you go. Yes. Thank you, Erica, for cleaning that up.
Resting face. Yes, that's what that is.
Okay.
Well, Sonia, you're a New Yorker. I know you do, honey. Northeast all day.
And see, I guess in the South, we too friendly around here because I'm one of them people. I'm high,
That's you, Tiffany. That's
but
just
I'm also the person. If I'm standing on the aisle and we looking at something, let's say we're looking at toilet paper, and we both just standing there, I'm be like, "Yo, man, how much math they want us to do? Like 12 don't equal 36. Like." That's how I am.
I was going to say that's who you are. And that's part of the beauty of who you are, right? That's the beauty of your personality. And that transcends across genders because that's one of the things that I love about you. But that's you. And that's one of the special things that God put in you. That ain't me. So, you know what I mean? Like not everybody, it doesn't come natural to everyone. You know what I mean? You effervesce effortlessly.
Shadow baby cry.
You I ain't gonna say what Bill DeVoe said, so
And Reginald, it's not even about having a frown. Just sometimes, especially if I'm reading, I might just have a blank face because I'm concentrating. So it's not even about being frowned up or looking mean. I've been told not that I look mean, but that I look like I'm in deep thought or that I'm serious. Because usually if you walk up on me and my focus somewhere else, I am in deep thought.
No, that ain't the South.
That ain't South. Jenna said that ain't South.
Well, I respectfully disagree.
What?
Because I am from the South and I got that mean look on my face all the time.
I mean, the thing, so like to me, there's a difference between walking around. There are some people that walk around literally like with this look of, I ain't even trying to come in your space. I don't want to step on your shoe. I ain't trying to roll up on you because I just feel like you about to cut a fool. And I got time for that. And then there's some people that, you know, they look deep and thought. Like, I remember one time I was at a business meeting and I was in a hotel, and this is downtown Charleston, so it's like, you know, one of the fancy hotels, and it was a black bellman, and I had my head down and I was walking, and he said, "Sister, why you got your head down?" And I was like, "What you mean?" And he was like, "No, you walking around with your head down. Hold your head up. Don't let these people see you like this." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm trying not to trip." And you know, but the fact that he actually, you know, had that conversation with me and him, laughed about it after the fact. But I think that to Shell's point, you know, if you're not bold enough to kind of cut past what you think it is and kind of at least just say something. But I don't know. Like, to me, it's just because I mean, I've seen some guys that'll just stare at you, and I'm just like, okay, why do you stare? Like, say something. You know, see, you know.
Okay, I understand. Okay, we got one more, y'all. One quick one. You know how that goes. One quick one. Don't look like that, Shell. But before
like, well, I'm anticipating to see what it is. I'm anxious.
You know, I've been ordered. This right here, please. Okay.
Union spoken.
Okay. We talking about church.
Uh-oh.
We talking about just a brief video.
All right.
We're gonna let the right love talk on this one. Go ahead.
And here we go.
So I can't laugh at that because my friend David sent me that video like maybe 4 weeks ago, and I was like laughing my behind off so bad. I'm like, how this man still recover? Because y'all don't know those pulpit, that's like those.
They are heavy. They are heavy.
They are heavy. Man, that bounce back was so strong. I'm like, man, if it had not been for the Lord that was on his side, casket tomorrow.
I was just about to say he got him a good hoop. Okay.
He shouted and had a testimony in the same.
I just know. Had that been my pastor, my husband, or whoever that I was connected to behind said pulpit, I promise you, when after service is over, I'm gonna comment and I'm gonna get me a good hearty laugh. I just want you to know.
What? That thing was, I got nervous when it leaned back, you know, you know.
So Chauncey, being a pastor, would you feel like your pulpit staff should have went and protected you by pulling that back?
No. If I asked for that smoke, I deserve to get that fire.
Lord, I promise
y'all. They don't hurt. If I asked for this, it happened.
I promise y'all, I would have been put out of church that Sunday. They were like, Tiffany, you need to go.
That situation taught me scripture is true.
Okay.
My grace is sufficient, even in weakness. Oh, man. Lift me up.
I tried hard. I tried.
So Reggie said
he sent us that video.
Reggie said it should have been secured in the first place. But Reggie, how you secure it to the floor? Because in my mind, I'm like, you got to move it when they had the Christmas play. You got to move it when the praise dances come up. You got to move it, you know, when I'm on the stage doing poetry. You got to move it when we doing things. You know, it can't be, you know.
Is it on wheels?
No,
that one ain't on wheels.
No, those things ain't on wheels.
That's one of the old
heavy.
Ooh, that would be worse if it was on wheels. That would be.
If it was on wheels, that would.
That would be worse, right?
I know why he was able to do that.
I was gonna say if it was on wheels, they should have locked the wheels, right? So it wouldn't have moved. But
no,
okay.
It didn't roll back. It
fell. You're right.
That ain't like moving day. See, you know what happened? That brother ate spinach before he preached. He turned into
Popeye.
That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
I wonder what the message was.
Right?
I want to know what the message was.
Yes.
Fat Joe song Lean Back.
I don't know. He said sometimes you gotta lean back.
All I want to do is to rock away. Lean back.
Now see, if he had let go, now if he had let go for a second and been like, then the whole thing would have fell over and it would have just been a whole, that he would have had to jump back real quick. Because he'd be like that brother that fell off the pulpit that time when he went to try to jump on that table and missed it. Same concept. I promise you. Like I said, I would have got
that brother was preaching a sermon and doing exercise at the same time.
Yes. He said, I'm learning how to lean and depend on Jesus. And I found out that if I trust him, he will supply. Hey,
you know what? That brother was working in faith. I'm telling you.
Learning how to lean and depend.
Nobody
boy, y'all covered. Here you go, y'all.
He's my friend. Leaning on the everlasting.
Oh my Lord, have mercy! I cannot.
Oh yes.
Understand
He said, and all that way is trusting him. He would direct your path.
Me up. Lift me up.
You are my strength.
Yes, sir.
Strength like no
other. Strength like no other. You know what? It reaches to me. Come on,
it didn't reach. It
didn't reach. He reached around to wrench that off. Yes, he did.
He is a wheel.
Oh no,
that's what Ezekiel said. Ezekiel said he saw him. Oh yes, is a wheel in the middle of the wheel.
Oh,
said he won't put more on you. That man said, "Oh, what needless pain we bear."
Can bear. But in that moment, he had strength like a lion.
Yo, we fitting to get fired again.
He said the Lion of Judah. He said that is the Lion of Judah on that desk. He said, "Watch me."
If we are not back on for a whole month,
we fitting to get fired. We fitting to get fired again. We fitting to get fired again.
Then we just talk about speaking what we want. Now we done dropped some good word on these people tonight. Okay, earlier in this broadcast, we dropped some good word on these people.
If Mike don't let us come back for a month, speak loud. Flood his inbox.
Open the floodgates of his inbox. Let it rain.
We're out of time. We
flood it like the flood that God put. Noah had built that ark.
Here we
yes,
go.
Sir. So meet us in the after party here in a few moments, where we will continue our song fest to describe what this gentleman did as he leaned back and he hooped. Okay,
and he leaned on the everlasting arm.
Oh goodness!
He said he reached back into his past to show how he came out and where I brought him from.
Saturday night this week.
And then Saturday night, we have our social. Join us on Saturday where we laugh a little bit. We may have some music. We may have some entertainment. We may even play a game or two. We may play a game or two. We have some connections that happen out there. Sometimes coming to the social, you never know who you might meet. You might even bond over a Slurpee. I'm just going to say it like that.
We might find somebody in the crowd. And then that next Tuesday, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Be right back here. You may see our faces and you may not. But if you don't, Brother Chauncey has already given you directions on what to do.
Flood the inboxes.
Yes.
All my life, I've always been pro-union.
But tonight,
we stood up. They sent us back. They didn't even send other representatives. They sent us.
Right.
So we are here. We're going to stand tall. Okay. We're going to do what we got to do to bring the people entertainment, laughter, and some word and wisdom.
That's right.
Straight from the said, thank y'all, studio audience. Thank y'all for your patience, your love, y'all support.
I know that's right.
And the contract requires me to do this. So thank you, Tiffany, Thank you, Chauncey. Thank you, Shell. And let's thank everybody, y'all. And we'll see you at the after party. If we even have one, but we'll see you at the after party.
Oh my God! Not that.
Wait a minute. What the union said, the part of the contract
She got to do an after party.
that you got to do one.
Y'all take care, y'all. See y'all later.